Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this exclusive interview with two distinguished professionals from Jacobs, a leading American international technical professional services firm. Our focus will be on their integral roles in some of the monumental giga projects in Saudi Arabia. And without further ado, gentlemen, thank you so much for coming to our studios today. Keith, AK, absolute pleasure having you in our offices today.
Thank you. Thanks for inviting us.
Yeah, thanks so much.
How are you feeling today?
I'm good.
Had a good morning?
Great, yeah.
Ready to talk about giga projects today?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, it's definitely going to be the focus, let's say, of our discussion. So before we kick it off, I just wanted to ask you, what are giga projects to you? And I mean, I can start off with you, AK.
Okay. Giga projects are unique kind of projects in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And there are a few factors that makes them unique. First of all is the scale itself. That's why it's called giga projects. For the likes of the line, for example, which is 170 kilometer long by 500 tall and so on.
Some big numbers popping.
Yes,
here and there.
we're talking about large scale projects that was never achieved before. The second thing is the location as well. They are not in the, usually these projects are either in the city or in proximity, but what we are seeing now with these projects, they are in remote locations, whether it's on top of a mountain or somewhere like the Gulf of Aqaba, etc., which makes it, kind of something that is extraordinary. How was that built there? And
right.
Yeah. So that's what makes these projects unique in a way, and I think the vision as well for these giga projects is to wow.
Yeah.
So it has to be big.
Have
it has
the wow
to be,
effect.
Yeah, has to be big. It has to be extraordinary. It has to be iconic.
Right.
And so on.
Definitely. Anything you would like to add?
Yeah,
to
no,
that?
I think the other thing with the giga projects is they're there to drive change. They want to drive technology. So from an engineering point of view, my background, the technology side of it is very interesting. And then they're trying to build a knowledge-based economy. They want to move away from oil.
Right.
So from a giga project point of view, they're trying to do many things. So as well as scale, I think their aspirations are big as well. They're giga. They want to change Saudi, which is a good thing.
You've just mentioned the knowledge-based economy. I wanted to ask you, how do you think all these giga projects really contribute to the economy of Saudi Arabia, and what ripple effect are we potentially going to have, and what is it going to create in that nation on that, let's say, global scale? Since we did talk about scale, right? It's a vital word when it comes to giga projects.
It did put Saudi on the map. Everybody talks about Saudi today, as it did make a lot of noise with all these, kind of impossible projects.
The impossible is possible. Yeah.
Impossible is possible, yeah. And it did, in a way, attract a lot of workforce to the region, and which we see here, the boom, we see the side effect as well in here, in the UAE and all that. And it is contributing to the economy in a way, basically, Saudi is moving away, let's say, from an oil-dependent country to, let's say, the model of the UAE, which is tourism and becoming a hub here in the region, that would basically, link Asia to the east to the west in a way.
Right. What's your take on this?
The thing with Saudi Arabia as well is the biggest populace in the peninsula, and I forget the actual statistics now, but something like 65% of their population's under 35. So they've got a big populace that want to learn. They've got a thirst for knowledge, thirst to understand, thirst to move forward within their own country, let alone regionally and then globally. So I think the giga projects are all part of that vision to strengthen knowledge, strengthen outreach,
right,
as well as internally looking at themselves. So it's got to be seen as a good thing.
Definitely, but apart from, let's say, their scale, what do you think makes them so unique?
Makes them so unique. I think the challenging environment, the location, is one thing from an engineering point of view.
And we'll discuss the challenges later on.
Yeah,
for sure.
I think the the scale and what they're trying to achieve from an architectural vision has just not been done before. You know, it's a great challenge to have, because you say you've never done it before, so you've got to challenge yourself as an engineer and an architect to turn it into reality. That's probably the key thing for me right now in terms of the initial response to the question.
In your opinion, it's probably going to be from a design perspective.
Yeah.
What makes it so unique?
There is no benchmark. This is the first time you do this thing.
A child can grab a pen, create whatever.
I mean, it's in a way, you know, pushing the designers beyond what's possible, and not the sky's the limit. You know, it's beyond that. And basically, they want, you know, the uniqueness. It's not just in the design itself. It's also in the offering. And the location adds to that. I'll give you an example of some of the projects which is in the media. The rig, for example, which is in 40 kilometers offshore, and it's this mixed-use project, you know, in the middle of the sea. It's never been done before.
Right.
Rigs, I don't think rigs had the capacity to even, you know, in terms of engineering, you know, to support a hotel, a 500 keys hotel, for example.
Right.
So this is what adds to the uniqueness of these projects and the challenges they bring on board. And of course, you know, people from all, you know, across the globe, when, you know, they see these kinds of things, they would like to at least visit it once in a lifetime. And that's what brings people to the region here.
Definitely. Now, both of you did mention challenges throughout this conversation. So I wanted to ask you from, let's say, an engineering and from an architectural perspective, what opportunities and what challenges have you seen, and what do you think what opportunities and challenges define these projects in Saudi Arabia?
Sure.
Well, look, from an opportunities point of view, the fact they've not been done before, and they're stretching the boundaries of, you know, can that be constructed? You can construct anything at the end of the day if you really put your mind to it. So that's the opportunity, is putting your mind to doing something that's different. And as an engineer, that's a great challenge to have. I think when you initially see the vision from the architects, you go, ooh, not sure about that.
Right.
But then you've got to go, hold on a minute, if I've got time to look at it, time to work it through.
There's a way.
And the key thing for me is it's not the engineer or the architect. It's everybody coming together to actually realise it, because it's no one individual, no one team is going to deliver these projects. They're so unique, and they're beyond the boundary limits right now in a lot of locations. Their location and what they're trying to achieve. I mean, you just showed me a recent one that's just in the press now, Atama, real challenging project, but is buildable. So for me, that's the opportunity, and being able to challenge yourself as an engineer.
Right.
The challenges are all clearly, they're there when you look at the images.
Right.
How are you going to do that? How are you going to get there? How are you going to build it? How are you going to encourage people to keep coming back? That first attempt, that first visit, that'll be the easy grab. Getting people to keep coming back to it.
Is what's important.
You want longevity.
Right.
Projects there not just for a one-off.
Right.
You know, if you're building them in a challenging location, you want people to keep coming back to them. So,
I assume it took a lot of persuasion on some projects for you.
Yeah.
Once you reached the engineers.
I think I would like to add to that.
Yeah.
The opportunity here, it's a unique opportunity. You know, it's not often that you have a government funding, you know, encouraging such, you know, innovative
we're very lucky
and you know, and large scale projects all happening at the same time, and you know, providing support and platform to deliver this. So that itself, I think it would never repeat, in my opinion, the opportunity. And for the designers, it is, you know, it's a dream come true. You know, there is no boundaries. There is no, basically, no obstacles. Just, you know, show me what you can come up with. You know.
Right.
So it's a dream job for an architect at the moment.
Do you find it challenging persuading your engineer colleagues that this is doable?
It is very, very challenging, not because of, let's say, how to build it. Everything is, because they are unique and there is no benchmark, everything is experimental. Now, add to that program. So, which is a huge challenge in the region. Everything has to be done in a very, very short period of time. So when you're dealing with something new and experimental, from, let's say, materiality to infrastructure to all these electric pods, etc., and then add to that the structure, which is a huge challenge, some of them to look this unique floating or whatever. And then you have...
Or whatever.
You have, you know,
the whatever.
The whatever.
we've seen. And add to this, you know, the challenge of the delivering them in a very, very short
I think that's probably the interesting point about all of the projects, because every project you do as a designer is generally a prototype. It's not been done before. Yes, you do apartments, yes, you do villas, but they're always unique. I think about the giga projects is the project is unique, then the systems in it are unique, the structure in it is unique.
Right. And it has its own set of rules.
You kind of almost got the constant noise of prototyping everywhere. Wherever you turn and look at the design, everything's, I've not done that before. But the reference point, yes, it might be made of steel or it'd be made of concrete. It's got drainage, but it's just unique. And then you look at the geometries that are being created. Woo,
Definitely.
you know, so it's
the wow effect.
it's stimulating. Is the other thing probably to say from an opportunities point of view. But I think your point about program and the fact it has to be delivered at some point,
right?
That's always the challenge.
Right.
That's the push and pull.
I can't help but mention, obviously, COP28 and sustainability is a huge word in the region. So I just wanted to ask you and see what your take on this is. How are all these giga projects really addressing environmental, concerns, integrating those eco-friendly, let's say, practices into their designs, and at the end of the day, you're supposed to make something that will be sustainable, something that will be long-term. So what's your take on this?
I think sustainability as a word is probably overused, and it always focuses on, the green side, the energy side and that sort of thing, which is very important. And all of the giga projects have said they'll be 100% renewable at the big scale. How Saudi will achieve that, the sun is a big benefit. Water's always a challenge. So that has to be generated somewhere. So there's challenges around that, but you've got to look at the wider word of sustainability. It's got 3 or 4 pillars depending on how you look at it. So you've got economic, social, environment, and theoretically culture, if you want to pick it up. So that vision of stretching the knowledge, pushing the knowledge from a social point of view and a cultural point of view, it's massively ticking all the sustainability boxes. It's massively moving stuff forward. From the energy side of things, and the fact that COP28 has now agreed that grand statement, we're going to move away from fossil fuels. That effectively, pardon the pun, adds fuel to the fire that Saudi wants to move away from an oil-based economy. Right. So from a sustainability point of view, all of the high-level metrics are easily met. The realities of achieving it, that's where the challenge and the opportunity comes.
We have to be super focused on, okay, what is the actual time span that we're going to need to achieve this, and what are the costs of it at the end of the day?
Yeah, and then, you've got your 2030 vision, which is always a good short vision to have, because it is short. It sounds like a long way away, but 7 years,
it's nothing.
It's nothing.
And 2040 is coming very soon.
And then you start to look at 2040, and 2050 is the big one that's kind of been, I think, set from COP28. That's when we've got to really make a big step as the world, global issue. That's achievable. It is achievable. If we really put our minds to it, we can do it. And there was some metrics came out of COP 2028. We've moved much faster in renewable energy than we ever thought we could do. So even the Americans, in a good way, have come on board with that. It's a good thing too. So you're getting some traction now where it wasn't there before. So you've got to be positive about these things. It's easy to go against it, say, oh, it won't happen. But get positive, move into it. And that's the good thing about the region overall.
Right.
That's the big positive that comes.
It has to be part of your DNA and your culture.
Yeah, 100%. A part of the culture. That's the fourth leg of the sustainability.
Which at the end of the day is the most important one. What's your take on this?
I think the approach itself is to these projects is, in a way, it's honest and trying to push sustainability to the next level. Of course, building them is challenging, and servicing these buildings, etc., in remote areas. But if we look at the line, for example, it's trying to reinvent cities. So the design idea itself was, I would say it was, in a way, looking at sustainable cities in the future. So instead of spreading a city and destroying, let's say, landscape and all that, they are trying to concentrate it in a very small footprint, and going up instead of going vertical. So it has that element of sustainability without destroying nature and all that. But like I said, it has its challenges in terms of.
Right. I mean, speaking about challenges, I guess we have to look ahead. And we are unfortunately coming to the end of our interview, but I just wanted to ask you, if we do look ahead, what is the long-term vision for these giga projects in Saudi Arabia, in your opinion? How do you foresee them, let's say, shaping the future of Saudi?
I think it's a legacy. These projects are, gonna define Saudi in the next 100 years to come. It is unique. It's different from any other, let's say, projects or structures that you've ever seen, built anywhere else. So if you look back one day, it was a moment in time that it was an extraordinary, let's say, period. Where, this has changed, let's say, the landscape of architecture and urbanism in general. And I think it will inform, because they are experimental, it will inform, let's say, the future projects. Lessons learned in terms of, mix and materiality and mode of transport and all that. And even we've learned a lot from how to build the constructability of these projects. Right. So no doubt this will inform the future projects on how to do them better, more efficient. Definitely. And maybe better projects than these in future. And
maybe even in 20 years, the constructions that are going to start there will be completely different from the constructions you're doing right now. Everybody will learn on each other's mistakes.
Again, there'll be successes, there'll be some failures. As long as you learn from the failures.
You have to start somewhere, right?
You've got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
So if you're going to make that big step, which they've done, let's do it. Then that's the first thing. You then got to take further steps after that to keep going. I mean, what is interesting, you pick up on one of the things like this thing of multimodal transport. It kind of was talked about when I first started a long time ago on how people can get around. NEOM particularly, are trying to realise that dream with many ways that people can move. Say electric vehicles, autonomous vehicles. The technology is kind of there, but where they're pushing it to is the next big step.
Right.
So the vision from that is really good. And if you want to be really romantic about it, I guess, maybe it's pushing, more opportunities for exploration, the Elon Musk thing. We're going to have to do something. Maybe there's a vision to go to Mars.
Right.
If you can test stuff here, test it on the planet, get it right.
Test it in the desert.
Test it in the desert, yeah. Exactly. So I think, there's all of those positives that come out of it.
That's a nice way of looking at it, honestly.
Yeah.
Very innovative.
Yeah, I think I would like to add one more on this. These giga projects, they help push the industry wide to, beyond what they can do, and which is, it's a good thing, it's a positive thing, because now, different industries are trying to push the bar and, invent new products, etc., new ways of construction. And even for us as Jacobs, we had to upskill our staff to be able to deliver these projects, because most of them are unique, not just in the look and feel, even the geometry itself, which requires different tools that not the normal tools we are used to. Yeah. So we had to upskill the team and basically even write scripts and reinvent stuff to be very efficient and keep up. Right. Basically.
Hey, you're going to be the founders of history one day. I mean, look at it. In 100, 200 years, you will be the very first ones. And I think this is the significance of, being in this generation now and creating something in this generation now. I don't think we even understand how significant it's going to be. Maybe our grandchildren one day.
Yeah, like you said earlier, before we started the interview, that's exactly it. Exactly.
Well, gentlemen, it was an absolute pleasure having you here today.
Thank you.
And I wish you the best of luck with all of your work, all of the giga projects, and I hope to see you again in the near future.
Will do. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. In conclusion, we extend our sincere gratitude to Kate Hill and AK Saadi for sharing their insights into the world of giga projects in Saudi Arabia. Their roles as technical director and regional director of architecture at Jacobs have provided them with unique perspectives on the challenges, opportunities, and innovations within this remarkable realm. As we delve deeper into giga projects, we gain valuable insights into the dynamic landscape of large-scale developments and the contributions of Jacobs in solving the most critical problems. Stay tuned for more construction content. With you was Mina Vucic. Until next time.